and I am the founder and CEO of Covett. And I'm here today to speak with Eva Meijer. Hello, Eva. How are you? That worked out so well.
Yeah, I know. Surprisingly enough, we managed at the first try, right?
We did, which is shocking.
Which is shocking. I know. That's usually not the case. I'm totally amazed as well. But yeah, I'm doing very well, to answer your question. And thanks for inviting me to your wonderful Instagram live session. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because there's so many fun things to talk about. So I was going to say that, you know, Eva Meijer is a purveyor of gemstones, and actually some gemstones that you yourself on our Instagram Live may not be acquainted with. So we're going to talk a little bit about her path to becoming this purveyor of gemstones, because that isn't where she started out. So with that, I'm gonna just start in with the questions, Eva.
Sounds good.
So you were a corporate lawyer, which is a very interesting and exciting occupation. What made you decide that you wanted to get into the gemstone business?
Yeah, no, it was a very interesting job, to be fair, and very very exciting as well. But at a certain moment, I felt that I missed. I guess, like several ladies that we both know, we missed a certain passion and enthusiasm and more of a drive that we know we have in us, but that we can't quite somehow channel in that job that we had before. So for a while, I was noticing, well, I've always loved art and fashion and architecture and exploring things and new ideas, and that is not always something you could use in a corporate legal job, that is. So basically, I really was looking literally for more color in my life. So yeah, I kind of made the fun connotation also on my website somewhere. Like I went from black and white, printed out contracts on white paper, to color. And
not to interrupt you, but it was so funny when we chatted earlier. I noticed I was wearing black and you were wearing a very colorful blouse. So I thought about that.
Yep. All about color.
I'm in the black. You're in the color.
No, to be honest, I do love black as well. There is definitely a great time and place for black. But yeah, I mean, I would love to promote more colors. So I also, of course, have to wear it more often, which I absolutely love to do. So.
Okay, so you decided you were going to move from black and white to color, and what?
Yeah,
what
and then
next?
Of course. Yeah, and then next, then of course, for a while, I was thinking about, what? I mean, would I like to do something in fashion, but I don't have a fashion degree at all, or do I have to go to art school for quite a long time again, and I was thinking about a lot of creative things. And then suddenly one evening, I noticed, while I was putting on my own gemstone earrings that I just got myself for a long time, I realized I'd always loved these crystal gemstones. And I suddenly remembered that as a child, I gave a presentation in primary school about minerals. I really don't know where that came from, because I totally forgotten all about that. And that I actually had been a little bit creative in my past, actually. So I was like, hey, this is quite fascinating. So that same evening, I started Googling where can I find the best gemology schools. And I found, of course, a few in Europe and in America. But I was drawn by an article that described this amazing school in Bangkok. That focuses on color gemstones. And very quickly I sensed it was not going to be diamonds for me. So the GIA, I kind of said, not the GIA, because they're specialized in diamond grading, of course. Or at least that's their main focus. I want to go and focus and specialize in color gemstones and get to know as much as I can about these absolute beauties, because also my gemstone earrings have always been with, color gemstones. So I decided to go to Bangkok for.
Have you been to Bangkok before, or you just?
Nope. Never.
Oh,
I didn't even know Asia very well. So I was like, that's a part of the world I really don't know at all. And they have great food,
oh,
plus
they
they
do.
have the gemstone market.
Yes.
And of course, life is more affordable there.
Mhm.
And I didn't have my great job anymore. So I thought I'd better go there.
Perfect.
And no, it was absolutely wonderful. So I lived there for a small year, split up in several periods, and did my gemology degree there.
Incredible.
Yeah, it
So
was
then,
really.
so then once you finished your gemology degree, then you had to, then what? You decided you were going to start a gem business, or what was the next step?
Yeah, well, it's really funny because during that 6-month course, basically, you get so much the urge already from day one to buy gemstones. Every day you have to go to school, which was located there in a skyscraper on the 40th floor, and all these 40, 50 floors are filled with gem dealer offices. It's so big. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's really cool. It's unbelievable. I forgot to mention that Bangkok is the world's trading hub of colored gemstones. So what Antwerp is for diamonds, and also Mumbai and Tel Aviv and New York, of course, these days. But originally, I guess it was Antwerp. That is what Bangkok is for everything of color. So rubies and blue sapphires, spinels, tourmalines. So that was another very important reason for me to study in that center where it all happens, right? To be close to the trade.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine being around many gemstones.
Yeah, exactly. So every day I had to pass this market to go through my class. And I was like, okay, don't buy yet, Eva, don't buy yet. You have to wait until the 6 months are over because you know how little you know in the beginning, right? So it's hard to kind of make good decisions. So at the end of those 6 months, I was like, okay, now I can go. So I bought a few color gemstones, and then I decided to bring them back home to the Netherlands, and I organized a tea or an aperitif, I forgot, with a lot of my aunts. I have a lot of aunts and family members. I invited them over, and I thought, I just show them this and that, some pieces, and explain to them what it's all about. And they loved it so much that I sold some pieces, and then also other friends. So then I suddenly got the idea, this is actually a great idea to do a business. And then later, someone else told me, Eva, actually, I work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day in my corporate job. I really have no time actually to think of a jewelry design, because at the time I only sold loose colored gemstones. Right. And then I realized, okay, I've got to go back to Bangkok. And also, besides the gemstone suppliers and dealers, which took me about a year to really get to know the good ones, because it's quite a secretive business. I had to go back again to make a similar round for jewelry workshops, ateliers. And now I work with a French atelier over there, and also some jewelers in Europe locally, because I noticed sometimes it's easier for logistical purposes to also have, great jewelers in Europe. And now I also make one-of-a-kind jewelry pieces and custom rings for people who are interested in just picking a stone from my collection, and then we design the ring together.
How fun. And what, how long have you been doing that now? So that's been how many years?
I lost count, to be honest. I think about 6 years now. 5, 6 years, yeah. Because it's about 7 years ago that I did the gemology degree. Time goes so incredibly fast. But after that, I really needed quite some time to, as I mentioned, find these great gemstone dealers, like the best out there, because they don't tell you, oh, you should go to Mr. Johnson, 3rd Street on the right, 5th floor. Nobody tells you that. It's quite secretive, although Bangkok is relatively open, the business, when you compare it to places in New York or Germany, for instance, where you can also buy color gemstones. It is definitely more open, but still, yeah, nobody tells you where to go, and there is such a big number of gem dealers all around you. As I mentioned, the skyscraper full, and then a whole gem district and several square kilometers around that skyscraper in Bangkok, in that Silom district in Bangkok, which is the gem trading district. There is a lot going on, from low quality to high quality, to
Right.
from treated gems to untreated gems. So it takes a long time before you get to know the ins and outs and know where to go and build up a network. So I did that first, and then for jewelry designers, the same thing, or jewelry atelier. Yeah, to find a jewelry atelier as well.
And what do you love most about working with gemstones now that it's your life's work?
Absolutely, the energy and the happiness and the beauty it gives to people. People seriously light up when I show them these, or I open these boxes with all these colors that they've never seen before. Because I focus on fashion forward, special colors that most people have never seen before in their lives. So what I noticed, and you probably know as well, is that most people know the big four. So well, white diamond, the blue sapphire, the green emerald, and the red ruby. Even of those three color gems, I noticed that, younger people, 30-ish, 40-ish, have a little bit of an image or connotation when they hear those gemstones of like, it's a little bit old-fashioned.
I agree.
Very conservative, traditional, and it's not at all. Provided you have the best of colors, which are incredibly modern, funky, and absolutely stunning. And it is for a reason that the most beautiful fashion houses in the world, who also have high jewelry lines, happen to use these stones as well. Like Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Chopard, Chaumet. Well, the last two are not fashion houses, but the first two for sure. Chanel lately as well. They use all these rare, beautiful color gemstones. And so I'd love to educate people more about them, and then open these boxes to them and see this, utter astonishment and joy when they see these stones. I hope to bring out and kind of magnify their personality with these gems. And that is what I love most about working with them, to find a stone that matches really with the person.
And so do you have a favorite piece you've made for someone, like a bespoke piece?
Well, what I thought was a great project and great fun to do was when a gentleman came to me, and he asked me if he could even propose just with a loose gemstone to his then girlfriend. And I had been toying with that idea for a little while as well, trying to find a way to promote or make people understand that there's another very original way to propose to a woman. That is by proposing with a loose color gemstone, which is rare and special and of the finest quality and beautiful. And after that, if she says yes, of course, the girl can come back to me, and we make an engagement ring together. And I thought it created just a win-win situation, because usually men are like, oh my God, I don't even know what pink gold is. What is white gold? Well, what does she like? Am I doing it the right way? So you put the emphasis for a gentleman to find the color of your beloved, which is a very nice journey to go through and very fun. Like, what is the color that suits my woman?
Right.
She isn't the one. That. Yeah, me too.
I think that's a great idea. I'm surprised others haven't done it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason, because I also notice it's hard.
Well, yes.
Because the diamond is brainwashed so much into our, into our visual imagination. Like, that is the stone that a man should propose with to a woman, which is colorless, white, easier to combine with any fashion style. That is true. It's very sparkly, so also beautiful. So a color gemstone is very daring. Men ask me, do you think she will like it? Do you think she will think that I don't love her enough? But I'm like, no, it's the opposite. You actually, took a path which is very unusual, and made all the effort to find the color for your lady, because you think she is more than a diamond, basically.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we found an exquisite Paraíba tourmaline, which I'm sure you know.
Yes.
It's an electric blue gemstone from Brazil.
Incredible.
It is so blue that even as gemologists we call it electric blue, neon blue. And he proposed to her with the stone. She absolutely loved it. We made an engagement ring together, and yeah, she still wears it, and she absolutely loves it.
Oh,
so that's a very original way.
That is a great story. I really love that. Yeah, Paraíba stones, beautiful, beautiful stones.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, stunning. It's stunning.
And you know, it's like you were talking about the high fashion houses and the high jewelry houses, where before, to be fair, all they did was the three kings and the diamond, right? And
yeah.
Pretty much what everything was. And then suddenly, I don't know when it started to happen, but they really started to take on some of these more specialist gemstones. I mean, you think about like tanzanite coming along and morganite, but then suddenly the Paraíba and sapphires and like all these very unique and gorgeous stones that aren't as popular.
No, exactly. And there possibly is an answer to your question, like why now? It's also because several of these exquisite new gemstones. Sorry, I have a fly zooming. So if I'm like waving, it's not at you, Cynthia. It's because a lot of these special color gemstones have only been discovered in the 60s and 70s. So they are, in gemological terms, super young, compared to, for instance, the emerald and the sapphire and the ruby, which you know we know already for millennia. Right. And that is precisely where we have the issue and the challenge when it comes to marketing of these new stones, such as the Paraíba tourmaline, which was even discovered later, only in the 1980s. Can you imagine? That's really incredibly recent and very young.
Yeah. And what about peridot? Because
peridot is also quite old. Yeah, it's also quite
old.
That's
what I thought. Because
they
say that Cleopatra actually wasn't emerald she loved, it was peridot.
Exactly. I think in those days there's still confusion whether it was emeralds or peridots that she was using. So that for sure is a much older stone. But yeah, Paraíba tourmaline only in the 1980s. Tanzanite morganite in the 1960s, and then there is also the rediscovery by these high jewelry and fashion houses. And a sort of hunger to find new material and new colors, because they have an ever more demanding clientele who wants something else. And it hasn't still become mainstream, these fantastic high quality rare color gemstones, right? I'm not talking about peridot or blue topaz or amethyst. We know those, and they're also quite old, but they're not what we would call really super duper fine quality stones. It's more the special colored sapphires, the Paraíba tourmalines, the spinels, very exquisite mandarin garnets, or
those are incredible.
Those are incredible.
They really are.
And Severide garnets and all that. And if you have time, you should look up also the Louis Vuitton high jewelry collections. It has a few pieces with Severide garnets that absolutely blow you away, and with Paraíba tourmaline. And those are simply pieces that you never see, even if you would walk in a Louis Vuitton store, because they only have it in certain hubs, probably. I think Geneva probably has a vault somewhere. London, the main capitals in the world, where there are sufficient luxury customers who are even willing to try on things.
And have money where they can have a broad collection, so they're willing to branch out and try these other stones, which is really fantastic. Okay, now this is a silly question, but do you have a favorite gemstone, or like what's your go-to gemstone for you personally?
It's funny that you say that, because in the beginning, after I finished my gemology degree, I loved everything. it's simply because you know how special they all are.
Right.
And our teachers had warned us for that already. They were like, okay, guys, after this, don't go, on a splurge and buy everything. It's better to just focus on a few stones. But obviously, nobody listens to that advice in the beginning because they're so enthusiastic, and it's sort of like candy country, right? You see all these amazing colors, and even you start to love yellows and oranges that in the beginning I really didn't like. But once I realized how special, for instance, mandarin garnet was, I absolutely loved it. But I have to say, my favorite stone and its history is it's spinel, and an underrated gemstone, historical gemstone that it has the same basically heritage as ruby actually, but has been totally mistaken throughout history by people and by everybody. Everybody thought it was a ruby, that red stone, but it turned out to be a red spinel. So even in the crown jewels of Queen Elizabeth, and also in Russian crown jewelry and in Iranian crown jewelry, there are a lot of these amazingly red, bright, traffic light red, massive gemstones in crowns or in scepters or things like that. And everybody thought for centuries they were rubies, but they're not. They were red spinels. So they call it also, or a famous gemologist and gem dealer, an American gentleman whom I absolutely love to follow, and he writes the best articles. He called it the phoenix, the rising phoenix. Yeah, because it has been underappreciated so much, but now also these high fashion houses and jewelry houses recognize the beauty of the colors of spinel. It doesn't only come in bright traffic light red. Yeah. It comes in pink pastels, icy blues, lavender shades, stunning. And it sparkles, very high quality gemstone. And its story is just wonderful. So I love that one. And the second one that I love is a cornflower blue sapphire. I mean, you've got me there. I mean,
you got me there as well. There's something about it that's so beautiful. I happened to be visiting David Jerome. Do you know David Jerome?
No.
David Jerome has this private collection of thousands of pieces of gemstone jewelry because he like you loves gemstones, learned all about them.
And amazing.
He has an 8-carat cornflower sapphire cushion cut. I had it on my hand. I was just like, oh my gosh.
You were dying.
I can't. I still dream about it. Like I actually do dream about that ring. Like someday. I hope he doesn't.
That is so incredibly rare. That is so incredibly rare. 8 carat. I mean, that's
stunning.
People have no idea. Yeah, I when I did during my gemology degree, of course, we had to read a lot and also for articles. And when you then read that daily on a worldwide basis, they only mine a handful of gem quality blue sapphires of 3, 4, 5 carats and up, a handful all around the world. It's nothing. I mean, when you compare that to diamonds, I'm talking about the highest of qualities, right? So they're absolutely stunning, and also their brightness of the saturation of that cornflower blue is totally out of this world. What people also don't know is that blue is quite a rare color in nature to find. So for instance, people are always looking in the gem dealing trade to find good substitutes for the most beautiful and most expensive gemstones out there. So for instance, pigeon blood ruby is one of the most coveted, to use your brand name, one of the most coveted colors in the market, and the most rare of rubies you can get. And cornflower blue sapphire or royal blue sapphire, they are so expensive because they're so rare that people have always tried to look for substitutes in, for instance, red tourmalines. So when you find a stone like a red tourmaline that comes close to the perfect color pigeon blood ruby, so this beautiful deep fluorescent red with a hint of pink in it, then the price of that red tourmaline will also be quite high.
Yes.
And the same with tanzanites, one of also the younger stones out there that was also only discovered in the 1960s. When usually it tends to be more violetish blue. But when it becomes more just blue, plain, vibrant, deep blue, the one of the blue sapphire, of the best blue sapphire, then that tanzanite will also become pricier.
Right.
So if you had an 8-carat cornflower blue, that is totally out of this world. Absolutely stunning.
I'm with you. It really was. Okay, so wow, there's so much to know. And I think, if people want to know more, they can go to your website and view your gemstone tutorial. I also have it in the Covett newsletter coming out later today. So if people want to see it, a lot of good information there. And they can always reach out to you as well. Right, Eva? I mean, it's like...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks so much. It's in your newsletter we put a little video which is called Gemstones 101 to just answer the most pressing questions people may have on color gemstones, and also to bust some myths that are out there. So that happens to be in your newsletter. And my website is there as well, which is evagemsandjewels.com, and people can always send me an email as well. And I think the email is also in your newsletter, I think.
Yes.
And you can find it on my website.
So now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about what made you decide, when I approached you about putting your beautiful gemstone pieces into the Covett Vault for subscription, what made you decide to do it? Besides, I'm so convincing and so passionate, but what was your thought?
That goes without saying. No, actually, I was convinced straight away because I had to laugh actually when I read on your website that you also talk about a jewelry revolution, and that really brought me over, because I always talk about the gemstone revolution as well, because I'd love to give people more access to these quite inaccessible color gemstones.
Right.
And you are actually doing exactly the same, but then for fine jewelry. So these fine pieces are hard to find, and to find them at an affordable price, or you may think, okay, I actually love this pricier piece, but will I actually wear it so often? And we all understand people's worries and what we our financial issues that we always have to take into account. So I think it is the perfect platform that you have launched at the perfect timing as well, actually. And I'd love to collaborate and help you out with that, and spread the word of the beauty of fine jewelry, and how to give more access to more people to these beautiful fine pieces and to enjoy them.
Yes, I mean, to me, it's a jewelry lover's dream, right? It is access. You can have access. You can have ownership if you want to have ownership. You can have a shared ownership if you want to have shared ownership. And you, like you were saying, that helps every person in every financial bucket, if you will, because you can have access for as little as £300 a month to borrow these magnificent pieces. And I think the other thing I've talked about with a lot of our partners is that people may not run across your brand in their average day-to-day. Like everybody, when you ask people what's your favorite brand, you get the typical Cartier, Bulgari, Tiffany, Van Cleef and Arpels, and it's sort of like you were saying with the marketing, it's just like etched into their minds, even though they haven't really seen what else is out there. And I just love the idea that designers like you, and there are so many great designers who are all doing, unique and outstanding work, can reach a broader audience, and that people can try them and expand their jewelry horizons. Because I'll give you an example. So I'm going to show the pieces that we have of yours in the vault. And I'm going to start off with this bracelet, which tell us a little bit about this gorgeous bracelet. I'm going to put this on my wrist.
Yeah, it's the what we call the golden hour bracelet.
I love it.
The big one. There's also a smaller one. And what is really wonderful about this bracelet is that it consists of a new gemstone, a very recently discovered golden sapphire. It's actually called the gold sheen sapphire. And the funny story is that I ran into this stone while I was in Bangkok, and I would always, explore the narrow alleys in Bangkok. And I came across this gem dealer, and I saw all these brown golden gemstones. And I was fascinated by them, especially because of this amazing golden sheen, as they call it. It's because of inclusions inside the stone. And he told me very enthusiastically that it was a new mining area that they had discovered in East Africa, and that he had bought the entire production as far as he knows it up to date. So so it's a very rugged, I find it a bit ruggedly handsome gemstone, so I really love that. It's quite big, and we set it in a matte bezel setting, so it's very nice around your wrist. It has a mysterious golden shade to it, and it's even nicer when you put a colorful bracelet next to it, because I always love to mix and match. It really
it kind of picks up the color of other things.
Yes,
doesn't it? Yeah, because of the golden sheen.
Yeah,
I think it was. I'll tell you a little interesting story about this bracelet. So at our event a couple weeks ago, a woman tried this on, and she said, "Well, normally I'm not a jewelry person, but I absolutely love this bracelet. Like, I can't take it off." And she was wearing a blue dress, and the blue dress with the bracelet was just amazing. And so, for her, she can have this and wear it with a Covett Vault subscription, which is amazing. And then you also did a pair of earrings, these golden blue swing earrings.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about these beauties.
Well, these are also these gold sheen earrings and gold sheen sapphires at the top, and at the bottom I mixed them with blue-green sapphires. And I love asymmetry in design. It makes it more playful, I think.
Yes.
And a little bit younger and less official, And so I have 3 tiny round blue-green sapphires hanging on one ear, and 4 or 5, I can't remember, on the other side.
Let's see, it's 4.
4, yeah. Great, you remind me. And as I said, I love to combine this stone in particular with colorful gemstones next to it, because they really enhance each other.
Yep.
And I love the dangly, sparkly effects of them. So when you wear them, they're really very distinguished, but they also quite cool. It's easy to wear with jeans and a white blouse, but also at night with a beautiful dress or a cool top. It goes with a lot of things. So I definitely
agree. And they're very feminine, but also kind of bold.
Yes.
It's almost like they're just stunning.
Yeah, I love that combination. Good combination. Feminine with boldness.
It is.
We definitely like that, Cynthia.
We love that. I was saying, like, our covetous are bold. They want to go out and do new things in the world. And okay, I love the name of these earrings, Extreme Measures. So tell us a little bit about why Extreme Measures, and then tell us about these incredible stones.
Ooh, now they are really, when you hold them close, that's amazing. Yeah, you can really see them well. Well, it was quite extreme, pink and yellow. So it's quite daring, and that is definitely for one bold lady who dares to wear that. There's a lot of people who are not too fond of yellow, but also because they don't know it so well. And when you haven't seen it in this shade of yellow, which is absolutely bright yellow, it's just something new. So you have to perhaps get used to that. But the moment I saw them, I absolutely fell in love with them. And these yellow stones are called sphenes.
Never heard of them. Till I saw these earrings.
Yeah, they're quite special. And what makes them extra special is that sphene, that comes, by the way, in yellow and in green, is one of the few color gemstones out there that sparkles more than a diamond.
Wow.
And that is quite special, because you should know that the one big asset of a white colorless diamond is its sparkle, its brilliance, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we usually have round brilliance, round brilliant diamonds on top of that, because that round shape enhances the sparkle of the diamond even more. That is the main asset of that little animal called diamond. Now, color gemstones tend to not have that fleshy sparkle so much. It's called actually a rainbow, fire actually, sorry, which is a rainbow type of sparkle. So you know when you have a diamond ring and when you move it in the light, it can flash red and green and blue hues all at the same time, this rainbow sparkle, and that we call fire. That's typical of a diamond. Color gemstones typically don't have that. Now, there is 1 or 2 exceptions, perhaps even 3, and sphene is one of them, because the color of color gemstones tends to cut that fire, because they have to have a body color, so they can't display those rainbow flashes, which is quite logical when you think of it. Now, sphene has a chemical setup or build, if you will, that allows for a sparkle which is even more brilliant than that of a diamond, which is exceptional. So I decided to combine that with beautiful pink, bright pink rhodolite garnets, which you see it with. So yeah, those were definitely, you know, some earrings for extreme measures. If you need to make it perfect.
Love the name, and I love the earrings, and I love the shape of the stones.
Yeah, because also it's hard to tell, of course, on a video, but the top sphenes are marquise shapes. So they are like a little, right? Like a little boat, maybe.
Yeah.
And you actually have to put them a little bit, twist them on your earlobe and put them a little bit horizontally, just like you put them there. And it's just different.
It is.
And they're incredibly sparkly.
Incredibly. They're beautiful. Okay, here's another favorite of mine. It's hard not to fall in love with these, Eva.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much.
I mean, it really is. Okay, these are stud earrings, but look at them. They're 2 different colors. Now, I can pronounce Heliodor, which is this one, yes? Is that a golden?
The yellow one, yeah.
Yeah. But what is the white one?
Orthoclase feldspar.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
It's a white gemstone. Orthoclase feldspar. It is, I would say, the Heliodor on the right, the yellow gemstone, is more rare, but the white one as well, because you actually, I mean, it is a little bit more abundant in nature, but you don't see it a lot in jewelry, and I think it's such a gorgeous stone. And when I saw these trillion shapes, I thought, this is so funky. And actually what I did here is, again, that asymmetry that I think makes it more playful. I did the same here. So you actually wear a white transparent stone, triangle stone in one ear, and a yellow beryl, or Heliodor as they call it, in the other ear. And the yellow beryl is actually family of the emerald and aquamarine.
Yes,
so they all belong to the same family. And this is just a yellow emerald, if you will. But it tends to be far more clean, by the way, than an emerald, and more sparkly.
These are very clean, actually. And really stunning. And the thing I love about them, one is the trillion cut, 2 things, and then the other is the size, because normally if you wear studs you don't see them as much, but these definitely people will see them. You can see them and enjoy them. They're really special.
Yeah, they're really daring and a bit more adventurous, I'd say, than the regular ear stud. I totally agree, because I'm not too fond of the regular ear stud. I mean, it's nice, but then I would prefer hoops or dangling earrings. But I realized that ear studs are so much more practical. When you have a corporate job, for instance, or things like that, or you lead a busy life, or you have a big family. So I was on the lookout for some original ear studs, and that's when I came across those gemstones.
Perfect. And then last but not least, and actually these are my absolute favorite, out of the blue.
Yeah, they're quite special.
These are so special. And I wish you could see the colors.
Yeah, these are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because this is a pink spinel on the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to see on the video.
It's hard to see. It's very pale pink, so it looks sort of white, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, what we have here is this rare spinel gemstone that I mentioned before at the bottom, and it's a big size. It's pastel pink spinel, and that's that historical gemstone that we mentioned before that has been totally underrated since you know, centuries, and yet has been used in crown jewels all around the world. And this is a beautiful pink pastel one, which I think is a very modern, easy to combine stone, and it's off by purple and blue and violetish round sapphires.
Yeah, it is.
So
I
it's,
mean,
yeah.
when I saw these, I was like, oh my. Who
Yeah,
would
these
love to
stones,
wear these?
both spinels and sapphires, have a high refractive index, as we call it. So that means that they sparkle. They have a high brilliance, and that is what we want in our gemstones. At least that's what I would like to go for, and make it more outstanding and remarkable.
They are remarkable. All of them, I mean, just remarkable pieces. And we're so excited to have them in the Covett Vault subscription. We want people to sign up and become subscribers so they can wear your fantastic pieces. And, you know, it's easy to do. And so it's great. You can try it for 300 pounds, which gives you 2 loans during a year. So you can wear it to a wedding. You can wear it to the office. If you go back to the office, you can wear it out to wear them out to dinner. I mean, just really expand your experience with jewelry. And I'm telling you, once you wear these pieces, you'll absolutely fall in love with them. I wonder if anyone in our audience has questions for you. Are there any questions out there?
On
look, I see a lot of
gemstones,
waving. Somebody said they love Paraiba.
Yes, exceptional electric blue gemstones for sure. Absolutely.
So any questions for me or Eva here on our Instagram live on a Thursday evening? It's almost, you know, the funny thing is, you know, in London, night where you'd walk down the street and be filled people. I live in the center of London. I did notice that it has become
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, a little bit on the on the video, but I got the gist of it for sure. And it's true. There's a lot of places where you can wear these you know, gemstones. Thank you, Cynthia. It was wonderful to be there. Thanks for the invitation, and again, such a great initiative you've started and wonderful platform. And